What up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the Format Podcast. Just wanted to drop in real quick, give some thoughts. I was driving and listening to some other stuff, and just had some thoughts. Right, NFL draft. This is real quick, and I guess it's going to bleed more into SEC bias. I talk about it all the time. You guys are probably sick of it, right? And especially since it's the college off season. But spring games just finished, and so there's still a fair amount of college football talk. The draft just finished, so there's a lot of things being discussed. One of the things is how the SEC had 65 players drafted. So year after year, we kind of see them continuing to break their own record. And again, if you listen to this pod, you know my feelings on the SEC. Tremendous football conference, right? Got to give it up. Again, congrats to the Georgia Bulldogs for ending their 40 plus or 42-year drought this past season, winning the national championship. Great. Also, congratulations to them for breaking, I think, the 2019 LSU record with getting 15 players drafted. I think LSU had 14 that year. Great. Real quick, though, we know that normally when a team wins a national championship, they get a bunch of players drafted. So it's kind of like, yeah, they broke the record, but that's in a way that's almost to be expected, right? Anyway, SEC bias. A lot of people tell me, oh, it's BS, especially I live here in Florida in SEC country. People kind of don't look outside of it to analyze what I'm saying when I say that. And make no mistake, it's a real thing. Now, when it comes down to it, at the end of the day, it is the best college football conference because when you've got 5 teams winning championships in a span of 15 years, that says that across the conference, there's just a greater emphasis on athletics and football in particular, and they're doing what it takes to win. So kudos there. They're getting it done. Now, with that said, right, of course, there's an SEC bias. We see it in the way the teams are rated in terms of how they get to play for the championship. Now, even still, once they get to that level, they still have to win those games, right? And they normally win those games by a good margin, right? They win handily. So I get it. But still, we don't see SEC teams treated the way other teams are treated from other conferences. They always get the benefit of the doubt, et cetera, et cetera. I could go into a whole show on that alone, giving examples of how when they lose, they don't get treated the same way in the polls that other teams do, et cetera, et cetera. But this one is more in terms of the draft, right? So one of the things I point to is the NFL executive groupthink, that belief that the SEC has all the best players, right? Yes, a lot of outstanding players come out of the SEC, or do they? Anyway, why do I say that? So the SEC, as I mentioned, had 65 players drafted this past season. I think that was a record again. But you know what's interesting? Same thing I've been saying. Half of those players, 32, I guess it would be 32.5 out of 65. But anyway, 32 of those players, which roughly makes half, came out of 3 schools: Georgia, LSU, Alabama. I keep saying it like we talk about it as if the whole conference is super elite, and that's just not the case. Like the top half, really, really elite. The bottom half, pretty much the same as anyone else, right? We're not even noticing the Big Ten had 48 players drafted. That's tremendous. A lot of great players in the rest of the country. But anyway, where am I going with the whole thing of 65 players drafted and the NFL scouts and executives group think about the SEC, right? Yeah, they do have some really good players that come out. I'm not arguing that. We look at Justin Jefferson and Jamar Chase and Trayvon Diggs and Mac Jones and all these guys come into the league and they're just ready and they get busy. I get it. But this belief, I don't know if it's misguided or what, or just lazy that, okay, SEC has all the players, when in doubt, go with an SEC guy. No, we're not doing that, or we shouldn't do that. Why is that? Let's look at the 2021-22 season NFL All-Pro team, right? What's that? 11 on defense, 11 on offense, and I think 3 or 4 on special teams, right? So out of 25 players on the NFL All-Pro first team, why don't you take a guess how many came out of the SEC? Go ahead, take a guess. I'll wait. Yes, 3. 3. The Big Ten actually had more players on the NFL All-Pro first team. So I say all that to say, yeah, there's great players down here. And I've actually done a segment on it way back. are the players down here that much better, or are the conditions just in position to make them that much better, i.e., the weather putting them in situations where they can train all year round versus up north where you get true winters and all that. Guys got to go inside. They can't necessarily train the same way for the same amount of time. I'm pretty sure that if you take any elite athlete, no matter where he's from, put them all in the same circumstances, all of a sudden the SEC doesn't have quote unquote all the best athletes. Now that's something we'll never be able to quantify or qualify that statement, but it's reasonable. It makes sense, right? You give everyone the same training, same advantage. It's like when they say today's athletes are so much better than the athletes of yesteryear. When you look at it on his face, yes, but today's athletes have more sports nutrition, they have more sports medicine, they have more science, all that good stuff. And with that same thing, especially on the NBA level, you're seeing dudes still get hurt more. But again, that could be another podcast episode of its own. But anyway, this was a short one. I just wanted to touch on this thing, the SEC bias. It is kind of crazy to me how you see it all the time, but no one takes the deeper dive. And you just wonder, these NFL execs, these NFL scouts, are they just lazy? Are they just groupthink, taking the easy way out? All right, that's it. Appreciate your time today. You know what to do. Click that subscribe button if you haven't already. Click that notification bell so you can get notified. If you want the all audio version, you know where to find it. Pretty much anywhere your podcast, you get your podcast. If your platform allows you, go ahead, give us that 5-star review. Definitely appreciate that. Helps us get found more easily. If you're on YouTube, you're looking for the pod, go ahead, type in the Format Podcast. And if you know anyone else who loves sports commentary and you think they'd like the show, go ahead and share it. Don't keep it to yourself. And I'm out. Peace.